What is up, everybody? I'm No Lex Given, and as a reminder, I am currently undefeated on Goldilocks. Every single time that I have played this hero, which has been 5 times now, I have won. So that does make me feel a little bit nervous to play it, but regardless, we're going to be looking at 2 Goldilocks games in this video. They were pretty similar games in terms of how they played out. Some different dramatic moments in each of them though, and this first one starts off pretty nicely. We flip over an egg on turn 1. That gives me a kitty cup purse, which starts off nicely with a little sleigh action here. So we've got 4 gold on turn 2, and I'm just going to pick up the Polywoggles. They're not super strong, but I've talked about this a lot. This is kind of like Polywoggle week. I think every video so far this week has featured Polywoggle. I really like Polywoggle on strong heroes because those strong heroes, if you stumble with the Polywoggle, have other ways to pick yourself back up, and if everything works out, then, well, you can do some pretty nice stuff with that. Unfortunately, we get the second attack on that combat, so we don't wind up slaying with either of these Polywoggles, but that just means we are taking them to the next level. I also get to grab a forbidden fruit here, so we've been doing pretty well, getting pretty lucky with some of these shops. We're getting to play 6 characters on 2.2, which is pretty nice. We've been able to efficiently make use of all of the gold that we have gathered, and we'll try to grab a little bit more gold, try to gather a little bit more gold with another kitty cup purse. Not going to be as lucky, but we do still get the win. So feeling pretty good right now, and now we are looking at 3.0 with a pretty interesting and powerful shop. Definitely some strong options here, and then the other thing to think about is if we sell off 2 of our characters, then we can pick up 3 characters from this shop. So I'm going to go ahead and sell off both of my good characters and then purchase all of the evil characters that were here. Now, there were actually a lot of different ways to potentially run that shop. You could have held on to the Humpty Dumpty and picked up the prize pig. I don't think that would have been horrible either, but I wanted to make use of these kitty cup purses that we got going on, and unfortunately neither of them slay in this combat, but we do get our Polywoggle slay. So 9 damage for a Lady of the Lake. I'm not sure if that's worth it, but I'll take it. And then we have a triple up for kitty cup purse, and there's definitely some decisions to be made. I'm not interested in the boiling beaker despite the witch's brew being in the shop. I think I'm interested in Dragon's Nest, and I think I may have talked about this in a previous video, but I actually really like Dragon's Nest on Goldilocks. When you hit 4.0, you're going to be able to find Feasting Dragon and Lightning Dragon a lot easier, so giving them +5/+5, we're almost level 4 in 2 turns. I think that that is going to work out really, really well. But I gotta tease this a little bit. If you want to see a piggy bank Goldilocks game and you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button because my 1K sub special is going to be awesome. And I don't want to spoil too much more than that, but yeah, I can't think about it without smiling it, and that should be a really, really good one. But for right now, let's get back to the current game. I'm going to wind up picking up another Polywoggle and then benching both of those woggles for that level up turn next turn. I also pick up a stag, which is a little bit awkward in the 3rd position, but the cool thing here is we can also for glory. So in addition to having our big Goldilocks turn next turn, if we win this combat, which I think we're somewhat reasonable to do so, then we'll grab a bonus tier 4 character from that shop. So things are looking pretty good. We just gotta get some dragons and we are right on track here. So we are going to get that kitty cup per sleigh. We also picked up a golden chicken, by the way, which is always nice on Goldilocks, though we're not gonna win the combat for the turn. We're gonna take a little bit of damage on this one. 9 again, down to 20. which is a nice number because that means we can also pick up this gingerbread knight in addition to a second Lady of the Lake. And then I see this nutcracker in the shop as well, and with double lady, I think that I'll want to grab that too. And I think I've spent too much time dirtling around with this kitty cup purse. It's definitely brought me some good gold and I'm happy for it. But I think it's time to get rid of this kitty cup purse. So I was planning on playing the Mummy alongside the Wicked Witch, but now I want to sell some things to pick up this Feasting Dragon that we just rolled into. No dragons in the shop on 4.0. So kind of unfortunate, but after a few rolls, we will be able to pick up this Feasting Dragon, and an 11-13 is just really, really powerful. And now I'm also still just hanging on to these Polywoggles. We'll try to triple them and then maybe have them slay once we hit 5.0 or something, but not going to worry about that just yet. We are going to get some nice hits on the Nutcracker, so that's going well for us. And then we've got an absolutely massive Gingerbread Knight and a massive Feasting Dragon, so we're doing really good. We get a double slay there with the Feasting Dragon. I asked really nicely and rubbed on my Lady of the Lake there, so that was cool. And then we are going to be able to triple the Polywoggle this turn, so we'll pick that up. That gives us Hermes sandals, which are nice, and then we get a nice shop here as well. We get to pick up another golden chicken if we'd like to, just for the time being. I could even sell off this mummy for a reckless wager, and I'm feeling reckless enough. And then I also go ahead and lock onto Water Wraith. A big reason to lock onto Water Wraith is we're about to be level 5, which sounds like a total non sequitur, but when you are about to be level 5, that's a great time to grab tier 3 treasures. And then we also have a baby dragon in this shop, I guess, that would be pretty good. But the tier 3 treasures that we are primarily looking for are Crystal Ball to pair with Aeon and Treasure Map to pair with any other tier 5 characters we might be able to pick up. My opponent with Deck of Many Things giving us a Falling Stars and an Earthquake activates my Nutcracker, so that's pretty sweet. We do miss out on the Polywoggle Slay. I was going for it on this turn because it was 4.1, but now that we've missed, now I'll probably just bench it. Though Coin of Sharon has some interesting implications with Polywoggle. We could put Polywoggle in the front seat, and then it can slay and, or not slay, just die, and it'll have +4/+4 for the next combat. But then I get Sting as a potential option, and I think I'm going to go with that instead. I can use that to help keep my Feasting Dragon slaying for the time being, and then next turn I can try to use it to help Polywoggle slay. So that's the idea here. I'm going to go for a Blessing of Athena to round out the turn. We're just double supporting this Water Wraith and hoping that that's going to be big enough. And then I do believe I am going to cut that Polywoggle, and we'll try to slay with that next turn. We'll use that in the Sting slot probably, though we'll see how greedy I want to get with this Feasting Dragon as well. We are still managing to slay with Feasting Dragon, so that is really nice, really cool. And yeah, then it turns into a 10/10 statue. Pretty funny there as well. And now we're on our 5.0 turn. So I was planning on using Polywoggle in the Sting slot, though you also got to look, we're very close to getting Lancelot to activate in that Sting slot as well. So that is certainly another thing to consider. Additionally, if we could give Lancelot just a little bit more health, it would also be able to activate. So those are the main things on my mind right now, is how can we activate Lancelot and do some fun stuff with that. We do find a True Love's Kiss here, which is also a little bit of fun, though I don't think we're going to be able to do anything too crazy with it. Probably not going to lock onto it. I'm just going to wind up picking up Robin Hood because it is a great unit, and then we'll see what we can do from there. Oh, I am going to go for the True Love's Kiss. Okay, well, that's a little bit surprising to me, but it works out very well because now we can activate Lancelot in the Sting slot. I was wondering how we did that. I knew that we did that this turn, but just a really lucky True Love's Kiss. Doesn't hurt to go for it, and then that'll also pump up the Polywoggle a little bit, but next turn we will also use the Polywoggle if it's unable to slay here because it gets attacked by a Robin Hood, for instance. Yeah, so a little bit unlucky on that. And then my opponent's Robin Hood is actually really, really big thanks to some bonuses and then the Fairy Godmother, so does wind up winning them the combat. Now we're down to 7, so things are looking a little bit dicey, to be totally honest, but we have some really good things going for us as well. I'm going to toss the Sting and pick up Helm of the Ugly Gosling, which is a little bit of a puzzle because now I don't want to play my Ladies of the Lake, but there's some other really good options in this shop, some other really good shoptions. We get to pick up a Lightning Dragon and we get to pick up a River Wish Mermaid. We just have to hope that we don't die and we don't lose the Goldilocks streak. Like I said, I'm very nervous playing this hero because I don't want to lose this streak and wind up having a pretty eventful turn with a free roll that also finds us into a River Wish Mermaid. And I like Gloves of Thieving, but I'm not going to take it just yet. I'm going to use one more opportunity to put a little bit more stats on what I thought would have been Polywoggle. Turns out those stats are actually going on Lightning Dragon. Wasn't thinking about that, but none of that matters anymore. We just got an Empress P upgraded with our Polywoggle Slay. So that's absolutely awesome. And now we are super, super powerful. An upgraded Empress P at this stage of the game, I feel really, really good about that. And we don't really have the treasures to support it, but we do have the supports to support it. We've got a River Wish Mermaid and an upgraded Baba Yaga, so we're going to be able to throw a ton of additional slays onto this Empress P. Interestingly, probably could have gone for the Merlin's test there, just given it +4/+4, and we probably would have won this combat, so those stats would have been permanent, and we're helping to keep it slay. But here's the main thing on my mind right now. Next turn is 6.0. We've got a decent chance to find Jormungand. So I'm super excited for that. Not really too much else am I looking for right now. It's really just Jormungand, maybe another Empress P, which by the way is gonna grab that slay there. So that's really good. That's gonna be a ton of slays, which is also a ton of stats on my backline characters, and going to be enough to allow us to survive and keep crushing it as we make our way into 6.0. So pretty nice stuff here. That'll be top 4, potentially. No, still top 5 as we play up against APOC this turn. Could be a scary hero, rather, to play against. The only really thing that we had there, I wasn't able to say it fast enough, dang it. The only thing that we had there was Hercules. Unfortunately, no Jormungand, but after a roll, we find the Jormungand. That's the other thing Goldilocks does, just gives you those 2 extra gold, and that 2 extra gold can be enough to allow you to roll into the things that you need. So really, really good stuff here. I'm going to play around with some different possible positions before ultimately deciding this is my best route. And then think about just throwing a Gigantify onto Empress P. It's not going to help it slay, but it'll help it stick around potentially to get that slay, to get that attack. We are attacking first, so Lightning Dragon should attack first, immediately followed by Empress P, and that is going to be how this combat works out. And then our Jormungand is absolutely massive. So yeah, this was pretty great. Lancelot grabs the slay as well, and then looks like we will be able to take out Spinzaku, who is also trying to play some slay stuff, but we were doing it just a little bit better. Slay's a little tough on APOC because you don't get to have any of that scaling up until that point actually matter. Here, I was actually just rolling for Robin Hood and Baba Yagas so that way we could find some tier 5 treasures, and while I would love to pick up Hand of Midas into another Empress P, you gotta take Horn of Olympus if you are trying to make slay stuff work. But I think we could still take this Empress P. I think that would still be good. I've just got to sell 3 things. I've got 3 things on the bench here ready to go, and out goes Lancelot. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually better or not, but I'm willing to try to make it work here. I think that it will be, because I think we're still at a stage in the game where Empress P has enough stats, believe it or not, to slay the unupgraded one. It just has to get that attack. So I move some things around here, but ultimately, I think that we are looking pretty good despite being at 7 health and it looking a little bit dicey there for a second. Lightning Dragon slays, and Emperor's P will slay as long as it doesn't get attacked by this Robin Hood, so a little bit unlucky, but as you can see, it had the stats to be able to slay. That's the important thing. That's what I was talking about. And then Empress P is going to make my backline absolutely massive when that eventually dies. We also get to steal something, though, excuse me, didn't get to steal anything super great from any of these Gloves of Thieving, I don't believe. But I'll take another Empress P. If we can make another triple for Empress P, that would be really sweet. And then I go for a Mix-a-Wizzle there, just because why not? It could have been funny to grab a Jormungand or Empress P upgraded. Haven't played against either of these opponents in a little bit, so I don't actually know what they're up to. But I'm feeling pretty strong with an Empress P with almost 200 attack. I think that's going to be able to slay. And then we've also got Hermes Sandals, so we'll have first attack as well after that Lightning Dragon gets in. I'm feeling pretty good about this one and our chances to take down the whole thing. But we'll see how it goes down. Lightning Dragon gets taken down, but it doesn't matter. My Empress P is just way too big, so that's going to get in for a ton of slays. Jormungand up to 600. My second Empress P misses the 50-50, but like I said, it doesn't actually matter. We are just way too huge right now. So we'll get the kill there onto Puffy, and that's actually it. I'm going to pop in a cough drop as we change over to game 2, but the other player in the lobby died to the ghost. So that is a win, and we are 6-0 with Goldilocks. Really, really awesome. But that just means the pressure's on even more. Every single time I play this hero, I don't know, I'm just nervous in a way that I've never felt otherwise, maybe in like some tournament high pressure situation. But a lot's on the line here because there's a big difference between being undefeated and not being undefeated. So we'll see how long we can keep this streak going for with another Goldilocks game. I'm gonna take a drink of water here as well. And you know what? No luck's given, baby. Roll the die, grab the egg, see the world. Looking great. Now we've got an 8-8 egg. I'm feeling confident already. My nerves already, we've been able to shake some of that off as we start off with a pretty incredible start, as Goldilocks, being able to pick up not only a Humpty Dumpty, but also a golden chicken. So now when we hit 3.0, we'll be able to sell off that golden chicken and pick up 3 level 3 characters on 3.0. So this is going about as good as you can ask for, to have a little bit of strength and also have the golden chicken. We are going to lose a little bit of that strength as our Humpty Dumpty dies here, but I'm just going to pick up another one. It seems a little bit reckless to pick up another Humpty Dumpty after that one just died, but it's just, I mean, it's that or pick up a 1-1 here on the board. As good as Kitty Cup Purse was for us in the last game, I think that I don't really need another one. Or rather that, like, I just want to try to be as strong as I possibly can. And sorry, got a little bit distracted there, to be totally honest. But yeah, I just want to use the eggs to be as strong as I possibly can. Sometimes I think about Humpty Dumpty as like a healing potion with some randomness in it. But that healing potion just cost us 2 gold and gained us like 4 life by allowing us to win that last combat. And even though I don't get to pick up great characters here, I'm still feeling pretty good about my chances overall. But yeah, that's just how I think about Humpty Dumpty. We've spent 4 gold on Humpty Dumpties, but we're still at 40. So you compare that to like the Wonder Waddle and the Zippy and the Fates. at the bottom of this lobby. They didn't do that, and now they've got 8 less health points to show for it. So I think that Humpty Dumpty functions well as a health potion here, and it's going to allow us to keep on winning. So hey, if it ain't broke. We do get to pick up some nice stuff on this board. Probably just going to pick up both of these pairs, and then I will sell off the baby dragon to pick up the frog prince. The baby dragon was good for us on the previous combat, but I think I want to hang on to the Princess White for now as a 3/5. Just try to play as many stats as we possibly can, and eventually we will start to make, so this is kind of the opposite of the last game. I'm just trying to play strong Storybook Brawl, and then I'm going to let my hero power find me an advantage at some point. But for right now, just trying to play consistently. One thing I'm thinking of is like, okay, Romeo, if I can find the Juliet on the level up, that's pretty cool as Goldilocks. But we'll see where this game happens to take us. And unfortunately, we're going to lose 2 of our eggs here up against the lobby leader. But again, it's like using those eggs, they were just health potions for us, and they allowed us to get to this point, and that health will be relevant later on in the game. I wind up picking up a Brave Princess here, as well as a Princess Peep, but this is a little bit late for Brave Princess 3.2, so not super... Not really looking for that to pay off in a huge way. It does get a sleigh here this turn, but ultimately not going to be great for us. And then we are going to wind up taking a little bit of damage finally, but now it's 4.0. And despite not finding dragons last game, this game we find some dragons immediately. And I think we can do some fun stuff with this. So we just have to sell off 2 characters in our hand. Princess White's gone. Maybe, in a different universe, we find a bunch of dwarves in this shop, and then we actually move into Princess White, but just no dwarves to be found on this one. So I'm going to pick up both of these dragons, plus the Candy Rain and the River Wish Mermaid, and if we can get these dragons to start slaying, it's not guaranteed that either of these dragons are, I guess it's the same thing, that both or either of these dragons are going to be able to slay, but if we can get them to start slaying, that is definitely a win condition. And we pick up the River Wish Mermaid as well, so that way the dragons can continue to slay throughout the rest of this lobby. And one of our feasting dragons finds the sleigh after the other one dies to Monster Book, so this is looking pretty nice. We are going to lose this combat, but that's fine. We got a little bit of stats onto the feasting dragon, and we can figure out where to go from here. I'm going to pick up Monster Book in this shop because that is a pretty good character. And then, once again, I'm going to get kind of just randomly lucky going for this True Love's Kiss on the Monster Book when we find yet another Baba Yaga. So, don't actually know why I went for this play exactly as I did, but it definitely worked out. And then I will also throw in the Mummy being supported by the Baba Yaga. Interesting to note, no Juliets. So sometimes Goldilocks is a little bit of a troll, not giving you exactly what you want. But I will definitely settle for a pair of feasting dragons and a Baba Yaga, and we'll see if we can take over this lobby from here. Does look like oh no, this is not a good combat for our feasting dragons. Okay, this is not a good combat at all. We take 13 down to 12. That's scary. But now we get to upgrade this feasting dragon, grabbing an Evil Eye. So we're definitely turning some things around here, and I'd really love to throw a lightning dragon into that first position, but that just isn't what we find. So instead I'm going to wind up picking up Friendly Spirit. It's not actually great on our current board, but it's just the best thing for the cost that we can add. So gonna grab that. It could potentially allow the Brave Princess to slay, or if it lands on the Baba Yaga, that's also great because that's a ranged character. So there's definitely some interesting synergies going on, but The main thing is if we can slay with this Feasting Dragon, we'll give everything in our shops +4/+4. And that will definitely be a nice little bonus. Our shops will have a total of +5/+5. And then we can maybe start to turn some things around, as we are definitely losing a lot of life points and are near the bottom of this lobby right now. We'll see. We just took 13. How much longer can we hang into it? My opponent's Lightning Dragon doesn't take out my Baba Yaga, which means that my Feasting Dragon is able to slay, and Friendly Spirit lands on the Baba Yaga. So we actually managed to win that combat against all odds, and we gave a little bit of a bonus to everything in our shop. Now, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name of Shoulder Fairies. Shoulder Fairies is not that good here. It's like kind of the opposite of what we want, because it's not actually that big because it's a Shoulder Fairies. Like, our highest attack is 8 and our highest health is 9. So those really aren't high numbers, but it gives us a tier 5 treasure, gives us that Horn of Olympus, and is just a powerful character to add on to the board. So I'm glad enough with that. We'll take it. Could have potentially just taken the Cupid here, especially as we are up against the lobby leader, and maybe that would have been right to do. Oh, by the way, everything in my shop is +7/+7 right now, so I did some math wrong somewhere, or I missed a Feasting Dragon trigger, wasn't paying attention. But either way, that's going to primarily what I was getting at. This Shoulder Fairies is strong because it has +21/+21 from the Feasting Dragon triggers, not because it's actually strong. We wind up taking a little bit of damage from the lobby leader, so now we're down to 6, but now everything in our shops have plus. Oh, because it's a doubled up. It was Evil Eye on the Feasting Dragon. Wow, yeah, so these numbers are getting out of hand really quickly. Everything in my shop's having +13/+13. What that's going to do is allow me to make these Shoulder Fairies relevant very quickly. We pick up a Shadow Assassin this turn, and then we also pick up a Gingerbread Knight, which is nice because it's also getting that +7/+7, but now our Shoulder Fairies are actually getting large and relevant bonuses. We just had to, be a little bit patient with it. It was a little bit risky, but now we're playing big characters to pump up these Shoulder Fairies, because everything in our shop, like, we basically have an Embiggening Stone going on right now. We're going to be able to easily slay with these new characters because they're actually huge, and now I'm feeling good. Once you get an Embiggening Stone, it takes a second for things to kick in, but now I am feeling quite big, and my opponent has a bunch of range characters, but I think we are still going to be able to take over this lobby, or at least start to win some of these combats. We have the option to pick up another Shoulder Fairies. I don't think I'm going to go for this one, though. I think I'm going to roll. We already have Evil Eye and Horn of Olympus, so we know where we're going. And while I could potentially change out some of my, like, I could change out my good character or my evil character, what I'd really like to do is play more heavily into the Slay comp, the support comps, try to find a Lightning Dragon, because, yeah, we've already got the Baba Yaga and the River Wish Mermaid, and like I said, on that 6.0 turn, we should be more likely to find Jormungand. We'll see if that holds true. And then one thing I'm going to do here, I'm just going to the end a Friendly Spirit, only for 4 health. That's all that I care about here. I talked about those Humpty Dumptys earlier as health potions. We're really low, so I'd rather give us a little bit more of a cushion there. Unfortunately, Feasting Dragon does not slay this turn, but I do think that we are still pretty powerful. We just have to battle through this Spellweaver on my opponent's side of things, and we are able to do so. So it's looking really close, but we are able to get the win. Now, important to note, a lot of things here actually to say. Yeah, this is such a complicated turn. I want to go back because you might have missed it. I missed it. I missed the fact that when I hit level 6, I gained 2 gold because I leveled up, so then Goldilocks kicked in. Now, all that I really could have done with that gold is rolled and then locked the shop for the next turn. So it wouldn't have actually been that profitable for me to try to do anything with it. But that's just something to be aware of if you are playing Goldilocks yourself. So that's 2 less gold to spend this turn in this shop. And there's actually a lot of stuff that we would really enjoy. We can cut our Shadow Assassin for Boom Hilda, and I think that will still leave us with a lot of stats on the current board from our Shoulder Fairies. And then we can also pick up Good Boy and Empress P, which are absolutely massive thanks to this Feasting Dragon doing so much work. And I should have gone for the Roll the Die first, but I go for it after picking up the Good Boy, and that lands on Boom Hilda, which is absolutely great because now I can play everything that I want to play. And I'm even going to cut the Feasting Dragon at this point. It's slightly less stats than the other thing, but I want to play another good character. It's slightly less stats than the Gingerbread Knight, but I want to play another good character. This pumps up the Shoulder Fairies, gives that a little bit more health, and then it is also going to just be a good character for the Good Boy to land on. Good Boy slays, dies, lands on Empress P. Empress P is able to slay, so all of a sudden, we are looking absolutely massive. Now we get to pick up a second Good Boy to add to the board, and now we can pretty comfortably drift out of this Shoulder Fairy strategy. And I'm gonna go for a True Love's Kiss on that Shoulder Fairies. Why not? We've been pretty lucky with them up until this point, and we're gonna continue to be really lucky. That's gonna give me a Jormungand. What can you say? What can you say? Sometimes rather lucky than good. I think that there is a Goldilocks somewhere out there watching over me and making sure that I do well in these Goldilocks games, because this one was close. But it looks like the streak is still alive. It looks like we are doing pretty well here with 2 absolutely massive Good Boys, and then a massive Empress P and a Jormungand to throw in on top of it. Yeah, this is looking just absolutely great. My opponent gonna wreck us a little bit here with some Lightning Dragons, so unfortunately, up against the Ghost, we do not get any type of scaling, but we're massive regardless. So I don't think it is too big of a deal, and then we get to triple up on the Good Boy. So that seems pretty good as well. We'll pick up Singing Sword just to throw a little bit more attack on everything in the front line. And then I do consider Wand of Weirding because there's not that many combats left in the game, but Singing Sword just making sure these things slay in case one of our opponents somehow got out of hand definitely seems the way to go. I'm also going to go ahead and I think that we have enough stats here, especially after picking up this Singing Sword, that I can just grab River Wish Mermaid. And now everything has a whole bunch of slays, and I was just planning on playing the Gingerbread Knight for the turn, but we get to do even better than that. We get to sell off our entire bench and add another Empress P. And though these Empress Ps are a little bit small, if our upgraded Good Boys die, those are going to get absolutely massive. And yeah, feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good about this one, all things considered. This has gone very well. My opponent's Medusa gets in there, takes out one of the Empress Ps. A little bit unlucky, but Good Boy's going to slay. And then my opponent is also playing tokens. So Empress P is going to slay as well. That's going to send Jormungand to the moon. Absolutely crazy numbers. The Good Boy still hasn't died, but the Jormungand is massive, and the backline's even still pretty big compared to what my opponent has got going on. And then eventually those Good Boys will die, and we will grab another slay with Jormungand and a kill onto Beauty. So we're on to the top 3. Things are looking pretty good, and we're up against the Ghost. So probably just one more combat to go, and we are blessed with a Knighthood in the shop. Let's Knighthood this Baba Yaga, throw a whole bunch more slays, see how much we can scale up against this Ghost, and see what crazy shenanigans we can get up to. So here comes Good Boy. Their Good Boy attacks in first, I suppose, but our Good Boy's gonna slay. That's good enough for me. And then both of my Empress Ps are going to be able to slay up against this Ghost as well. as long as this second one doesn't get attacked into by the Sporko. We'll see in just a moment. Yeah, it's even going to get the bonus from the good boy there. So absolutely massive numbers. We can see Jormungand up to the 5 digits, I believe, in attack. I believe it's up to, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just at 4,000. But still absolutely crazy. And then we continue to get pretty lucky here, being able to turn Baba Yaga good for the final combat means that it'll get a bunch of bonuses from our good boy as well. That means we can't cast any combat spells on this final combat of the game, or what's probably the final combat of the game. I guess I won't get too ahead of myself here. We'll lock onto a lucky coin as things finish out, but fingers crossed. I'm feeling good though. I'm feeling good, and I think we will be able to take it on and get that 7th win with Goldilocks. And just to, maybe I didn't stress this enough. Oh, I'm looking at my opponent's board because the tracker wasn't working properly there. They have a whole different board though here with this Black Prism. They're playing some pretty big trees, but when your Empress Peas can just slay and take down their trees, you know you're in a pretty good spot. My Jormungand's going to be able to eat up all of these Echo Woods. Empress P almost takes out an Echo Wood there. So yeah, we are quite large. And then even though my opponent's got a Phoenix Feather, my River Wish Mermaid is able to trade with their Echo Wood. So pretty good stuff there. And yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that this is the 7th game that I have played with Goldilocks, and I've gotten first place in every single one of them. We'll see if we're able to break this streak eventually, but like I was teasing earlier, that 1K sub special that is coming up, if you hit that subscribe button, is also going to be a Goldilocks game. So we'll see how that goes, if I can maintain my streak up until that point. But for here today, that is going to be it for me. So thank you guys very much for watching. I'm No Lux Given. Peace. One.